welcome back to my channel and thank you so much for watching. So I am finally doing a video using the new Jaclyn Hill Morphe palette. I never get collaborations. I'm either too late, I'm skin, or I just can't be arsed, or if it's like a completely different time zone. But I made sure I checked the time zone so I could get this palette. Obviously it is a collaboration with Morphe. I'm sure you've seen loads of reviews. This isn't really a review. This is just me basically, whoa, look at it. This is me just basically creating a look using the palette. Obviously, if you want to see a more in-depth review, then let me know. But I always find that like really long, and I've already seen loads of them on YouTube. I mean, a quick overview that it is amazing. It has lived up to the hype, to be honest. Excuse me. Yeah, it's really similar to Morphe's previous palettes. The formula's very similar. They are just so creamy, buttery, and just so pigmented. That's the only way I can describe it. I'm just going to keep on using it over a few weeks, and I'll give you my final thoughts in another video. I created this look today. From a first impression, they are so creamy and they blend so nicely. I thought I'd step out of my comfort zone, kind of. Obviously I've still got some warm tones in there, but I thought I'd play around with some colour and some like half cut crease. Yeah, I just wanted to challenge myself and obviously congratulate Jaclyn. If you know me, you know I am like obsessed with Jaclyn Hill. Alongside Michelle Phan, Jaclyn Hill was one of the reasons why I started YouTube. So I've just been obsessed with her ever since. I probably watched each of her videos about 10 times. I think Josh gets a bit annoyed with me because I'm constantly like watching her videos. But yeah, I hope you like this video. Jaclyn Hill will probably not watch this, but congratulations anyway. But yeah, I really hope you like the video. I've done a voiceover because I literally had no idea what I wanted to do. So please excuse if like halfway through I look a bit confused and I'm like, oh my god, this looks... But yeah, I find with these kind of makeup looks, you kind of have to keep going and it will all come together. So if you want to know how I got this look right here, then just keep on watching. Okay, so I have already done my foundation and eyebrows. I only done a little bit of foundation because I do end up wiping some of it off later, but just to save time. So going in with Silk Cream and Creamsicle, I'm mixing the two together and using a Morphe M441 brush. I'm following the natural crease of my eye. So going slightly above the crease as well. You can see how I'm holding my brush slightly above so I don't get too much on the lid. So you want to follow the natural crease back and forth. And then I also want to deepen it up slightly with Roxanne and Jazz. Those are the two kind of like burgundy shades in the palette. So I kind of want to map out my shape first of all before going in with any concealer and cutting it out and that sort of thing. That's just because I'm going slightly above my natural crease, so I just wanted to get the shape right first. You don't have to do this, I was just kind of playing around, but you can follow what I do if you need to. So just using a short shader brush, I just want to buff out the edges just so they're not too harsh on top. We still want the top area to be very nice and blended. So just keep going back and forth and blending the top and then just adding a tiny bit more right on that line. So I'm sort of using the angled brush to carve out the crease, and you can see I've gone slightly over my natural crease where it naturally folds, and that is so when my lid colour is on it doesn't transfer up to my crease, as I do have like the tiniest weeny bit of like a hooded eyelid. It's nothing major, but it does hang slightly. But yeah, as you can see, I'm using this Smashbox brush. It's very nice and fluffy. So this is the bit where I start to carve out my kind of lid or crease area. So like I said before, you don't have to go in with the angled brush first. You could just do this step. So using a very small short shader brush. This is actually from MAC. I will list the number down below. I'm not sure what it's called. but I'm following that shape that I created earlier. So very like short, slow motions. Just take your time with it, and I'm using concealer to do this. And I'm just very slowly carving it out, and I'm going just over kind of halfway. Don't worry too much about the outer corner, as we will go in with a darker colour first. This is kind of just our like base colour first. I said first twice, I know. So using the shade, I think this is Jazz. I'm going to use that shader brush again, and I'm going to pat that on the outer corner and sort of fade it into that lighter colour that I put on before. I did find it a little bit hard kind of like mixing it together, but you just have to keep on patting until you get the desired sort of intensity. So you do see me struggle a little bit here. I didn't want to take it out because at the end of the day, every eye look, you know, we all have our struggles, but you just got to keep going. So I'm patting, I think this is called Royalty. This is the kind of purpley satin shade in the palette. I found it wasn't really going on with my MAC 242 brush, so I did go in with my finger and I kind of patted it on and swiped it on until it was kind of very dense and a little bit more intense, as I did found the concealer was grabbing on it more than like just my skin. So maybe put the concealer all over and then pat that on top. So now I'm mixing that with the shade Twerk, and I am just patting that kind of just over like halfway. It doesn't matter too much where you put the shades. This bit is where I was like, oh my god, it looks so shit. But you just got to keep going, and I kind of mixed a little bit of the pool party in the centre. And I found this bit is kind of where I wanted to put foundation on, because you do find with no foundation, the eyeshadow can look very weird. So just persevere with it, and you can use a wipe to tidy up the edges if you feel like you want to go a little bit more sharper, or you can go round. It's completely up to you. Oh god, I can't remember the name of this. I think this may be called Queen. I may be wrong. But I used that shader brush again to swipe on the inner corner, again kind of carving it out as well. But yeah, there's no right or wrong way to do this kind of look. I just kind of made sure it was going from light to dark, so there was like a gradual fade from like gold to turquoise to like a blue and then a purple. But you can mix around the shades, it's completely up to you. But I do keep going back and forth with the colours, just so I don't lose any of the intensity and saturation. And bam, my foundation is done. So I just went and done my foundation. It looks so much better when foundation is on. When the foundation is on, it really does kind of clean it up. So I'm using Beam, and I think this is and Light kind of mixed together, and I'm highlighting my brow bone, and this really ties the whole look together. You will find that it just tidies, like if you've gone up too high. So next I am going right underneath the eye. So I want it to be really buffed out and kind of connected to the top as well. So I'm just going in with the shade Creamsicle on a pencil brush, and I'm really buffing out underneath, and just make sure you connect to the top and the kind of outer corner, just so it flows really nicely. And then going in with the shade Crown Apple, I'm buffing that right underneath the eye, and I'm just going back in with a fluffy brush to connect everything together and to really blend it out as well, so it's nice and seamless. So next I'm going to actually go in with some translucent powder. I actually got this trick from Jaclyn Hill herself, funnily enough, but I found it was a bit too low and it looked really messy, so I just cleaned it up with some translucent powder and a sponge, and it kind of carved out my shape a little bit more. And then if I did get any fallout, I can easily wipe it away. So I'm just mirroring the outer corner on the bottom lash line as well. So going back in with that purple shade called Royalty, and then also deepening it up with the shade Soda Pop, just to add a little bit more definition. I'm using that on a MAC 212 brush to really buff that into the bottom lash line, and to again connect to the outer corner of the top lid as well, just so everything is very kind of intense on the outer corner and then really nice and light on the inner corner. So just mirroring again, applying beam and Enlight just on my inner corners as well to tie everything together. So I'm just moving on to my skin. So I have already done my foundation and powder. I added a little bit of bronzer and highlight to tie everything together, but as usual you can do your usual foundation routine. My highlight is Whisper of Guilt by MAC, and my bronzer is Mineralized Skin Finish in Dark Golden. And I wanted a really nude lip because I didn't, oh, you lost something there, Hannah. I didn't want to take away from the eye, so I went with Japanese Maple by MAC and then SOAR lip liner, and just kind of blended that out with my finger so it wasn't anything too intense and it kind of contrasted against the eyes. As there is a lot of colour going on, so you don't want anything too much on the lips because you don't want it to clash. But that is basically it. I finished off with Fix Plus. I did touch up the blue and the gold just so you don't lose any of the intensity. And I finished off with some Demi Wispies by Ardell. Okay, so that is the finished look, guys. I really hope you liked the video. If you did, please give this video a thumbs up. Please subscribe to me if you do want to see more. And someone said I kept saying yes in the last video, so I'm going to stop saying yes. And please leave your comment down below, letting me know what you thought. So that is I was almost going to say it then. So that is everything from me. Thank you again for watching, and you'll see me in my next one. Bye!